The astonishing portrait of Treintje Kever. She's been painted full size. It's almost inconceivable, a woman of over 9 feet tall. Treintje really is our mascot, the calling card of the Edam Museum. She was the daughter of Cornelis Kever and Anna Pauwels. They were relatively poor people, living a simple life. Her father was a sailor who went by the nickname Langman, or Tall Man, so it wasn't exactly a surprise that his daughter Treintje grew up to be tall as well. During her normal daily life, she was likely never dressed in the way she's portrayed here. However, her father would take her to various fun fairs where she was displayed as an important, wealthy lady from the higher classes, which of course came with this costume. The painter of her impressive portrait remains unknown. In the upper right-hand corner of the painting, it is clearly visible that it originates from the year 1633, the same year in which Treintje Kever passed away, at the even then very young age of 17 years. Nowadays, she would probably be diagnosed with a hormonal growth disturbance. However, there's no way this theory can actually be confirmed. Fact remains that Treintje was a most striking appearance at the time, and would still be now. With her stature, she could probably clean the eaves of the Edam houses without standing on tiptoe.
For Treintje, going to the fairs had its drawbacks. She had to put herself on display for the masses, which was not a role she particularly liked, since people tended to stare at her and call her names. On the other hand, it was a serious source of income for her parents. Moreover, for Treintje herself, it was a world where there was candy and where she could enjoy other exciting attractions, like the man with the bear and the woman with the beard.
Several details will catch the attention when looking at the painting. She has an almost noble appearance, a lace collar and cap, a rose in her hand, and underneath her black skirts, a set of keys is visible. The keys, of course, are there for a reason. Treintje is portrayed as an aristocratic, mature woman of wealth and prosperity. Back in those days, a lady from the higher social circles was usually also in charge of the household, and would carry her keys with her to make sure the maids or housekeepers did not have access to the larder or the money box. So to carry keys was a display of prosperity and a security measure at the same time, and in the painting they add to Treintje's weighty appearance.
The immense church she's depicted in always gave her a good feeling. It was one of the few places where she didn't feel that tall. In fact, the church was the only place where she really fit. There she was more in tune with her surroundings. The church was not only more equipped for her length, it was also quiet. Nobody shouted at her, and none of those stares for once. She would often dream away, put her head in her neck, and stare in the vaulted ceilings and arches. For her, they were close to a vault of heaven.
On the other side of the painting, we see a beautiful chatelaine, her so-called travel cutlery. Aristocratic ladies of visiting other ladies of wealth always brought their own cutlery with them. Here we see that cutlery displayed on her dress, clearly indicating she traveled often. A very remarkable thing is this pair of Treintje's shoes. It is quite rare that these 17th century shoes have been saved. Just under the painting we see the shoes displayed, which, at a rough estimate, are at least a size 17. But how can we be sure this whole story is not made up? How do we know Treintje Kever really existed? During her lifetime, she already was quite famous. As mentioned, she was frequently on display on several fairs in the Netherlands. Moreover, one of the more well-known Dutch ladies of the time, Amalia van Sons, the wife of Governor Frederik Hendrik, witnessed the presentation of the tall girl, as documented by one of her ladies-in-waiting, who in several of her letters mentions the encounter with a 9-year-old girl of rather extreme measures.